What's going on, guys? It's ETAPRIME back here again. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Saitake 7007X Bluetooth controller for Android or iOS. Now in this video, I'm just going to be focusing on Android because that's what I use it with. And yes, you may have seen a video very similar to this on my channel, but I actually had to remove it because I did have some gameplay footage in there from a certain company that doesn't want their games displayed on YouTube. So it was blocked worldwide and I just went ahead and deleted it. But since then, I've had a lot of people ask me about it, so I figured I'd go ahead and remake the video. This controller is my absolute favorite controller to use with my Android devices, be it native Android gaming or emulation. But that doesn't mean that this is the best controller. In my opinion, the best controller that you can use with your Android device, or iOS for that matter, is an Xbox One controller with Bluetooth built in. These came with the Xbox One S. You can get them for about $50 on Amazon, and a phone clip goes anywhere from $5 to $10 depending on who you buy it from. Over the years, Microsoft has invested millions of dollars into the Xbox controllers, and these are some of the best controllers that you can get, in my opinion. Now, I know some people are definitely going to say that the PS4 controller is better, but that works in D input mode, and the Xbox controller works in X input mode, which works natively with Android and now iOS with the latest iOS 13 update. So long story short, you're going to be hard pressed to find another company that's invested so much time and resources into a controller that works with Android. The only downside to using an Xbox controller for me is using a phone clip. I hate having my phone above the controller. It does get a little off balance when you have a much heavier phone, but like the Galaxy S10, which I have here, fits perfect in here and you really don't even notice it's there. But when you move up to the gaming phones like the ROG 2 or even the Red Magic 3, it does get a bit heavy. We'll get right back to the Saitake in just a second, but I do want to talk about my favorite controller for Android tablets, and that's going to be the iPega 9083. It's what's known as a telescopic controller and one of the bigger ones on the market. And every tablet that I've tested, from the Nexus 9 on up to the new Galaxy Tab S6, fits perfectly in this controller, and you can connect it over X input. It's got a good feel to it, the D-pad is great, analog sticks are just fine, great battery life, and I think this is the perfect controller for Android tablets. The Saitake controller comes in anywhere from $20 to $50 depending on where you buy it online and how long you want to wait for it to ship. I picked mine up on Amazon for $34 and I think that's a good price. I definitely wouldn't pay over $40, but I think around $30 to $35 is a great price for this controller. So inside of the box, you're going to get your micro USB charging cable, a user manual, and obviously the controller itself. This is what's known as a telescopic controller, so your phone sits right in the middle of this thing. It's spring-loaded, so it holds your phone securely, and it has rubber padding on each side. So one of the main reasons I like this controller so much is the form factor and the button layout. As you can see here, we have a home button, mode button, select, start, 2 analog sticks, and if I had to guess, these are ripped directly from a Nintendo Switch. They do have L3 and R3 built in, so you can press down on them. We have L1, R1, L2, and R2. I'm personally not a big fan of the separated D-pad layout, but it does work really well on this controller, and I will demonstrate it by the end of this video. Now, in the last video I created on this controller, I didn't show you how to set it up, but in this video I will go over the steps I use to get this into X input mode and connect it to my Android device. So as for phones that fit this controller, they claim any phone with a 4.5-inch screen on up to a 6.7-inch screen will fit. And that's not exactly true because the Red Magic 3 and the ROG Phone 2 will not fit in this controller. The bezels on those two phones are a bit too thick and it just won't stretch far enough. But all the Galaxy devices will fit, like the Note 10 or the Note 10 Plus, the Galaxy S10, the S9, the S8, or the S10 Plus. But I have found one really inexpensive phone that fits in here perfectly. This is the CoolPad Legacy, and I've created a video on it recently. I'll leave a link in the description. This thing is perfect for PSP and Dreamcast, and the price on this is around $99. It's got a nice looking screen on it, a Snapdragon 450, and as you can see, it fits in this controller perfectly. But one of my go-to devices for emulation and native Android gameplay is actually the Galaxy S10. This is the regular S10 version, it's not the Plus version. There's still a little space left on the top and the bottom, but this thing is super lightweight and very powerful. I know it's an expensive phone, but this is my Android device and this is what I use on a daily basis. Now we're going to go over pairing the controller to our Android device. You need to have Bluetooth enabled, and on these Galaxy devices, it's under connections. Most other Android devices, it'll be listed as Bluetooth. You want to make sure Bluetooth is turned on your phone. Then we're going to grab the controller. We're going to hold the home button and the select button for about 7 seconds. All 4 lights on the controller are going to start to rapidly flash. This means we're in pairing mode and X input, and that's what I use with my Android devices. Now we're going to move back over to our Android device, do a quick scan. It's going to show up as an input device, a keyboard or a controller until it gets its name. And we're going to pair the device. And it should show up as the Saitake 7007X. And since it's paired in X input mode, we can actually navigate the full Android operating system using just the controller itself. We have the home button, D-pad, analog sticks will work for navigation, A works as select, B works as back, and now it's ready to play native Android games that support controllers like Minecraft, Fortnite, Asphalt, or any emulator from the Google Play Store. So here we are, it's all paired up, working with my Android device, and there's one app I always like to install, and that's Rotation Control. It'll allow us to put it in landscape mode in any menu inside of Android. That way, when it's sitting in landscape mode in our controller, everything looks normal. Like I mentioned, this works with native Android games as long as they support controllers, and there's a lot of them out there. I'm sure there's lists online, but I know Minecraft, Fortnite, Asphalt, GTA San Andreas, and Bully support controllers, so it'll work right out of the box. Here we have Minecraft. All the buttons are functional. We have the start button to pause the game. We can go to our menu by pressing Y. I mean, the controller is working like an Android controller should. And we even have a home button on the controller, so it'll bring us right back into the Android menu. Here's another quick test. This is Asphalt 9. Now this game has limited functionality with a controller, but it does work. Now it's time to move over to some emulation. Some apps will require setup, like the Dolphin emulator if you want to run GameCube or Wii games, but most of the other stuff from Google Play will work right out of the box. Like Redream, the Dreamcast emulator. And finally, some Marvel vs. Capcom 2 so I could test out some special moves. Now this is using the analog stick, works great for these Hadoukens. And the D-pad also works fine. Even though it's a separated D-pad, it does work quite well, and you can definitely get used to using one of these. So overall, I really enjoy using the Saitake 7007X. Some people might have a different opinion about it, but this is personally my favorite controller right now for my Android devices. It's got a great form factor, the buttons, analog sticks, and even the D-pad feel fine. Battery life is outstanding, up to 12 hours of continuous gameplay, and it only takes about an hour and a half to charge it. And if you're into using controller mapping apps like Octopus to play PUBG, this controller will sync right up and you can program it from there. So if you've been looking for a telescopic controller for your Android device, I can definitely recommend the Saitake 7007X. But if you already have an Xbox One controller with Bluetooth built in, I would just pick up a cheap phone mount. If you don't mind having your phone sitting above the controller, this is the perfect option. So that's pretty much it for this video, guys. I really appreciate you watching. I actually picked mine up on Amazon because of the price and the easy return policy, but you can find these on eBay and sites like Banggood, so it's really up to you where you get it, but I will leave a few links in the description. If you have any questions at all, let me know in the comments below, and if you found a newer controller that I have not reviewed yet, please let me know. I'll pick one up and check it out. But like always, thanks for watching.